afternoon, IHSA football family. It's time now. Episode 8, week 8, Deep Dish Football Live. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? How you guys doing? My name is Coach Big Pete, a.k.a. Peter Liner, publisher of DeepDishFootball.com. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. And yep, I'm running a little bit early. I just realized that's 5:49. I apologize to that one. All right, so before we get started, as again, the playoff schedule has just got released. Just as always, every year, Deep Dish Football Live on the first round of games will be on Thursday with DuPage Run and Shoot. Breakfast with Coach Big Pete will be moved from Saturday to Sunday for the first round of games. So just a quick reminder. And again, I stated this last week, I'm not doing a playoff pairing show. I suggest you looking for other playoff pairing shows. NUIC College Camp Air does a wonderful job with small schools. Absolutely wonderful. Definitely check him out. NUIC Fanatics. He does a great job. But I will not be doing a playoff pairing show, but I will be doing the playoff pairing articles that the Sunday after the pairings on Saturday. I will be doing a playoff pairing article, as well as we'll also be doing yearly awards. So if you have those season stats now, start sending me those season stats. And again, Deep Dish Football Player of the Year will be announced that Sunday as well after the regular season. So make sure I have your season stats. And as always, Friday night, nominate your player for the player of the night in the state of Illinois. Send those stats in to direct message, Facebook, Instagram, email me at coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Again, coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. And again, also the Sunday conclusion article, I'll include the names that had the big primetime performances. And Hog Unit of the Night. Who was the best offensive line unit in the state of Illinois? Again, offensive line coaches, parents, players, fans, please send me those stats. Again, direct message, email me at coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. November 12th. Still have, actually, right now, I think it's like 40% openings right now for the free recruiting seminar at the Westmont Public Library. Again, you must RSVP. Limited seating. You must RSVP. Send your RSVP. It's November 12th. There's the graphics everywhere. At the Westmont Public Library, November 12th, Sunday. There is no Bears game that day. No Bears game that day. So, again, if you're interested, it's for classes of 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. So, just a quick reminder about that as well. And I'm trying to think. If you like my work, feel free to leave a tip / donation via PayPal or Venmo link on the deepdishfootball.com website or the link below on Facebook Live. How you doing Instagram Live? I'm also on Instagram Live for the Coach Big Pete Instagram page too, as always. And again, DuPage Run and Shoot show is going to be tomorrow with my co-host Patrick Codo as we talk DuPage County football. And we talk some IHSA football as well. He does a wonderful job. He works for Naperville Community Access Television as their sports reporter. So just quick name drop and big shout out to Patrick Codo. Make sure you give him a follow. Codo's Mojo too. All right. And as always, we get into week 8. 2 more weeks left of the season. And again, do you want to go into the postseason undefeated or do you want to go into the postseason with 1 loss? I think, again, and I've seen a lot of it, I think it's a lot better to go into the postseason, getting into the playoffs with 1 loss than it is going to undefeated. There's a lot more pressure, and again, that feeling of a loss is there. You don't want it, and that hunger's there as well. That's why, again, I like to see a lot of teams that have that 1 L, that 1 loss. It's a good thing. Undefeated teams, there's just something about it. You'll get 1 or 2 special undefeated teams every season, but 6, 7 doesn't work. And sometimes they get upset at too. So again, that 1 loss, there's just something special about those 1 loss teams. So That's one of the things that you got to think about as we get into the playoff season as well. And again, as always, I urge this with all recruits, all players. If you are not playing a winter sport, and there's a winter sport that's available, basketball, wrestling, take a look at it, especially wrestling. I can't not preach enough wrestling for linemen, linebackers, and running backs. It does a wonderful job. So if you're interested, definitely talk to your wrestling coach if wrestling is available. A second sport helps out a lot, especially for young athletes. Track and field in the spring, baseball, boys volleyball. Take a look at that second sport if it's available. I cannot urge that enough. Definitely take a look at that as well. And again, we get into week 8 games of the week. This is going to be a little bit of a quickie, but we're going to talk about it. Edwardsville versus East St. Louis. And again, Edwardsville has played unbelievable football. Almost lost to Belleville East last week, but have been able to keep that undefeated record going. East St. Louis, they've played some tough teams. First lost to Mount Carmel, lost to the team down in Texas, but again, they always put usually 3 games out of state, 2 games out of state. But overall, East St. Louis as a team is a much different team that we saw from week 1 against Mount Carmel. They progressed vastly. So this East St. Louis team is the real deal. Robert Battle at quarterback, he is unbelievable for this East St. Louis team. Again, an immense progression with the offensive line of the Flyers. With Edwardsville, Jake Curry has been an absolute star, now the career touchdown leader for Edwardsville. I'm telling you right now, this game is going to be, I think the key thing is going to be on Robert Battle. I think Jake Curry is going to have it handled, but the big thing is going to be on East St. Louis's quarterback, Robert Curry, Pops Curry. Robert Battle. I apologize about that. Sorry about that. Next one, Johnson City versus Cesar. Johnson City is undefeated, and yes, I'm eating crow. I am eating crow for Johnson City. Cesar sort of got right. Colt Packer is a player you got to keep an eye out for. A good amount of linebackers on that staff of Cesar. And again, this is a Black Diamond Conference. You can almost feel like a championship game. Both teams undefeated, and overall, Cesar has handled their teams easily. Johnson City, impressive, especially with their ground game, too. So this is going to be a big Black Diamond Conference game. Carterville takes on Murfreesboro. Murfreesboro, undefeated. Carterville, they had a couple hiccups there these past 2 weeks, but they've been good. And again, overall, with Carterville, the key is their quarterback and their passing attack, taking on this Murfreesboro team that's been very dynamic, especially with the passing game, too. And again, Carterville is looking great. They're looking really good when they get into the playoffs. NUIC DuPage versus Forreston. DuPage bounces back after a tough loss to Lena Winslow. Gets the big win last week. They're taking on Forreston, who is undefeated. Forreston cannot overlook DuPage, this DuPage team. Coach and son Hoffman, their quarterback, he's having an unbelievable season. And overall, DuPage is a team that we thought that what they were. We did think that again, Lena Winslow was going to win that game. A lot of people had Lena Winslow winning that game. Overall, DuPage's in 3A. Again, a immense dark horse in 3A. A huge dark horse in 3A. Do not sleep on DuPage. Batavia versus Wiener Warrenville South. Wiener Warrenville South. They're on fire right now, but they got the Batavia Bulldogs coming to their field. And Batavia is a scary team. And again, the big thing is going to be, and he's heating up now too, Carbonero, the quarterback of Wiener Warrenville South. Matthew Kreider has been on fire right now. And that offensive line of Wiener Warrenville South has been very, very good. They've had a couple hiccups in the beginning of the season, but they have been doing a great job against competing defensive lines. So this is going to be an interesting game. And again, Ryan Bowe, Charlie Wetley, I'm forgetting the Whitwell, one of the more dynamic backfields, especially when you talk about 7A, and that's Batavia. Very dynamic backfield. And again, that offensive line will just smack the ever-living hell out of you. So definitely going to be a good game. I think, again, Batavia comes into that heavily favored, no doubt about that. East Aurora, West Chicago. East Aurora, 4 wins. West Chicago, apologize. East Aurora, 4 wins. West Chicago, 4 wins. Both teams 4-3. Wow. What a difference a year makes. I thought East Aurora was going to do this last year. They didn't do this last year, but they're 4-3. West Chicago, Coach Chavez. It's just a wonderful story about this West Chicago team. I'm going to go dive more into this game tomorrow with my co-host Patrick Codo on DuPage Run Shoot Show. But overall, Vincent Mucci is going to be he's the big time playmaker for West Chicago that you got to keep an eye out for. East Aurora, the big thing is going to be the defensive line. They have to get penetration on that West Chicago offensive line. No doubt about that. Harlem versus Belvedere North. Harlem's defense, again, great. So in the first 5 weeks, they were great. It's been a little up and down. But again, they have a great defense, and they're taking on a Belvedere North team that has had a great run game, especially for Bertoloni. I'm going to murder names. I apologize, by the way, but he's a hell of a player. He definitely a name that you got to keep an eye out for. Buffalo Grove versus Prospect. And Buffalo Grove, Anthony Polino, he's their star playmaker, taking on the Prospect team. Again, underrated offensive line. They've had another team that's had some ups and downs as a team total, but a young quarterback, good group of wide receivers too. Very lengthy, athletic wide receivers. Again, this is going to be a huge test for that Buffalo Grove secondary. Shelbyville versus Clinton. Shelbyville is undefeated, taking on Clinton. What a great small school game. And again, Shelbyville, I'm happy you guys are undefeated. Again, there was 2 years where it was up and down, down. But good job for Shelbyville. They're going to be back in the playoffs. I'm happy to see it. Maine South versus Deerfield. Deerfield's been on the down. Maine South stock is rising up high. Definitely a kid that you got to keep an eye out for. His defensive tackle for Maine South, Tyler Fortis, is a name that you must know about. For Deerfield, the defense, stop. They got to stop someone. A lot of mental mistakes on Deerfield. DuQuoin versus Nashville. Nashville against the tough DuQuoin team that, again, didn't know too much about the Indians in the beginning of the season, but they've overall impressed, especially with that ground game. So we will see as they take on a tough Nashville team. Nashville Hornets? Yeah, I think it's the Hornets. Yeah, Hornets. Warren Township, Lake Forest. Lake Forest, again, on the down. Warren Township stock is rising high. Again, Coach McNulty, after those 2 losses, he must have done something because there's a fire under those kids' asses for Warren Township. And Warren Township right now is looking really good in that NSC. And when they get into the playoffs, they're going to do some damage in their defense. You see from the first 2 weeks, they were, again, mental mistakes, non-cohesion. Now they're cohesive. You see communication happening with that defense. It is good. Warren Township is looking really good. Newman Central Catholic takes on Quinoa. The Boilermakers had a tough loss. It was 2 weeks ago. Newman Central Catholic, a tough loss. It was Morrison. No, that was Princeton. I'm sorry, I apologize. But Newman Central Catholic, great defensive line. That's going to be a key for Quinoa. Can they get some holes in that defensive line of Newman Central Catholic? Knoxville takes on Fulton. A little bit of a surprise with some of the NUIC teams. They're facing some teams that non-conference that I'm around this time of the year. But overall, Fulton has been impressive. They just had too much competition in that conference, and again, games that just they're outmatched. And this Knoxville's going to be a game is going to be huge for the Steamers. And overall, multiple sport athletes on that Fulton side of the ball. That's what I like to see. Lamont versus Richards. Again, with Lamont, another team that was a little bit on a slide, but now they've risen up. Overall, against this Richards team, who, again, just like Lamont, down on the slide, risen up as well. I had a couple tough 3 weeks for the Richards Bulldogs, but again, they've been able to get back. With the big thing is their star running back overall against that Lamont defensive line. That's going to be huge. Leroy versus Gibson City. Leroy is undefeated, taking on a Gibson City team that had a tough loss last week. And we will see overall how Gibson City's defense can put an end to this rushing attack of Leroy. Lincoln Way East takes on Sandburg High School. Sandburg Eagles flying high. Lincoln Way East, they're just kicking ass. And again, I've been completely impressed with the Lincoln Way East defensive line. Just absolutely impressed. Next man up mentality. And again, there's not much of a talent difference when they got their backups in. That's how damn good Lincoln Way East is. This Lincoln Way East team is a special one. Now they just can't get any shitty seating. And again, when they get into 8A, there's some teams that they don't want to see. But Lincoln Way East is the real deal. Brian Tishner is into his role as their star quarterback. And again, he's not overcomplicating things. He's not turning the ball over. He's not really forcing passes that much. It's a good thing to see. Maine West takes on Niles West. Niles West suffered a big loss last week to Highland Park. Maine West undefeated. Can Niles West get the big upset against Maine West? Again, Alex Gorbicano, their defensive end, is an absolute star for Maine West. Overall, this Maine West team has proven everything. Their quarterback, an underrated quarterback. So we will see. It's going to be a good game. Manuka takes on Oswego. Manuka, for Oswego, on and off. This beginning of the season, they were on fire. They were winning out. But again, tough losses, especially the game to Yorkville. This Manuka team, unbelievable. Darf, their quarterback, impressive. Overall offensive line play, another thing that I've talked about numerous times about this Manuka team, that's their strength. And when it gets colder, the greatest thing in the world again is putting the hogs up and getting that 3-4 yards on run. And it's a pain in the ass for defensive coordinators. And they don't want to be there because they're muddy and it's cold. Again, the strength is offensive line for that team, no doubt about it. Normal takes on Peoria Notre Dame. Normal, undefeated. Peoria Notre Dame, just an unbelievable season. Offensive line, McLaughlin, I said is a kid that you must know. He picked up an offer from SIU. I think he just picked up an offer from Illinois State, if I'm not mistaken. But Peoria Notre Dame overall has been great, especially with their running back Hanley. And it's going to be interesting. Can they get that lovely 3.4, 3.5 yards a carry against this Normal defense? It's going to be huge because Niekamp is a pain in the ass. I'm telling you that right now. Olympia versus Auburn. And for Auburn, keep an eye out for Trey Lancaster. He's a hell of a player, by the way. Running back for Auburn. St. Bede versus Ottawa Marquette. Ottawa Marquette keeps on rolling, so does St. Bede. Max Bray. I keep telling you guys, keep an eye out for this kid, Max Bray. Overall, two-way players for St. Bede and Ottawa Marquette as well. And again, with St. Bede, I think the most impressive thing that they have now is that passing attack. They've had two kids that have stepped up into the roles of a quarterback. Max Bray is two-way, again, a two-way player. But overall, St. Bede is very impressive. Peoria versus Normal West. Normal West only one loss, which was a little bit of a shocker. I thought they had the second loss. Peoria Lions, again, onside kick, 2-point conversions, high-flying offense, Tino Geis, Rutherford. This is an unbelievable team that Peoria has. And the big thing is you got to keep the ball away from them. You have to control that time of possession against this Peoria team because this Peoria team will absolutely kill you. Quincy versus Geneseo. Quincy undefeated, almost lost last week to a tough Sterling team. Geneseo, one loss. And again, the big thing is going to be against this Quincy team, getting pressure on Braden Little and getting turnovers off this Quincy team. And Geneseo, defense is going to be the key. That defensive line, they got to get pressure. That's the most important thing. And again, first goal, stop the run. That's the most important thing that they got to do. Rochester versus Glenwood. The Glenwood Titans, again, up and down, up and down. Rochester's defense is absolutely, they're that damn good. Offense, it's there, Leonard. Their offense is great. Especially looking at some of the film with the receivers, it's the typical, basically high level IQ for a receiver at Rochester. That's how damn good they are. Overall, the big thing for Glenwood again is their defense. Can the defense put a stop to that Rochester offense? And on the other side of the ball, Glenwood cannot have any mistakes. Bucher, Rochester's safety, took 2 pick sixes, took 2 interceptions for a touchdown. So, again, another game to watch. Rochelle versus Plano. Plano's been a little bit of on a slide right now. Rochelle, again, another great season from the Gensler. The younger brother Gensler. There were 2 Genslers. But overall, another game that you got to keep an eye out for. And Plano's got a hell of a running attack, too. So we will see about that. Sacred Heart Griffin versus MacArthur. The Ken MacArthur. What the Ken MacArthur team are we going to get? That's the big question. Hell of a running back, star running back, freshman. But again, defense, they got to show something against this tough Sacred Heart Griffin offense. And Sacred Heart Griffins can score both ways. And it's the Caden MacArthur team. Defense is going to be key in this game. Seneca takes on Dwight. Dwight, again, they've been good. They were on fire in the beginning of the season, but they're starting to slow down. The Seneca team is undefeated. Yes, 2 forfeits, but overall, the Seneca's got a bunch of great, multiple, faceted, two-way players for Seneca. Definitely a team you got to keep an eye out for in two-way. St. Charles North takes on Lake Park. Can Lake Park get the W against the St. Charles North team that has given up some pretty big games? So, definitely a big thing for Lake Park is, again, they suffered a tough loss to Wayne Warrenville South last week. Can they bounce back? And again, it's going to be on that passing because St. Charles North is going to stack that box. So, it's definitely a game you got to keep an eye out for. St. Rita takes on St. Lawrence. St. Lawrence is on fire. Aaron Ball, hell of a running back. St. Rita, DJ Stewart, just talked about him in my article. This is a big game right here. And with St. Lawrence, the big thing is going to be the defense against St. Rita's offense. And St. Rita's pissed off that they lost to St. Francis last week. So definitely a game you got to keep an eye out for. TF North takes on Hillcrest. Hillcrest has been unbelievable this season. Only one loss. TF North just got their first loss, but Hillcrest overall completely impressed with them. Keep an eye out for this youngster Mika Blade. He is going to be an absolute stud for them. I think he's class of 2026 if I'm not mistaken. 6'4". Kid is unbelievable. Great technique as well. Good speed off the end spot. Definitely this Hillcrest team is something to be talked about. Coach Kieran Reaver has done a wonderful job with the Hillcrest Hawks. And TF North, big shout to you guys too. It's good to see. Wabanzi Valley takes on Naperville North. I'll talk more about this tomorrow with my co-host Patrick Codo on the DuPage Run and Shoot Show. And again, the big thing is going to be Tyler Fritt for Wabanzi Valley. And Naperville North, again, gets some sort of semblance on that passing attack. And their defense has been playing lights out pretty well. Naperville North team has been pretty good. Again, it's going to be an interesting game. And Wabanzi Valley's got a great shot at the playoffs this year, so we will see. Wilmington versus Mantino. Mantino 4-3. Wilmo only one loss, and that was to Seneca. Mantino. It's always a battle against Wilmington, and for this, with the passing, it's going to have to be the passing. If you want to beat Wilmington, get the players in single matchups. Pass, pass, pass. Expose their lack of speed. That is the most important thing against this Wilmington team. Every runs team, Wilmington team. That's the most important thing. But Wilmington, again, they play tough football. They play that old school style of football. Again, they have responsibilities. They take accountability. That team, and there's no personal jealousies or that. Rentz has got that. He's got that team like a well-conditioned car. That's how good it is. Every part has to work to make that car run. And that's what Wilmington is. And that's why Rentz is one of the best coaches in small school football, Illinois. So it's going to be a tough job for Mantino. Big thing will be pass. And if you showed me just the stats on passing and I saw incompletions, the rate of incompletions, and the total quarterback average after in the second quarter and the third quarter, I could pretty much tell you who won and who lost. So this is going to be an interesting game. York versus Lions. Lions gets the big win last week over DGN. The big thing is York is coming off pissed off after losing to Glenbard West and a little bit of a smacking. With York, the big thing is going to be Jake Mellon. That's going to be a huge part against this Lions Township defensive line. And overall, Lions, throw that ball. Throw that ball. Ryan Jackson is a hell of a quarterback. And the last one, St. Viator takes on St. Ignatius. Again, St. Viator, impressive win over Montini. Davon Ellis is definitely a kid that you need to know about, the running back spot. St. Ignatius, again, great offense. A little bit disappointing in that defensive line these past weeks, but we will see. It's going to be interesting, this game, especially when St. Viator takes on that defensive line, Justin Scott, who's an absolute star. So we will see. But that is it. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. November 12th, again, is the free recruiting seminar at the Westmount Public Library. You must RSVP. It's absolutely free. It's on a Sunday. There are 2 sessions. Email me what session you want to go to. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. There's no Bears game that day. No Bears game on November 12th. I think it's 1 o'clock to 3:30. There's 2 sessions. The graphic is on deepdishfootball.com as well. Again, playoff schedule times will be changing, people. For the playoff schedule, as always, Deep Dish Football Live will be moved to Thursday with DuPage Run Shoot Show. And then Breakfast with Coach Big Pete will be moved on Sunday at 9 a.m. when the playoffs begin. That's the broadcast schedule. Been doing that now forever. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, and again, no playoff pairing show. I'm not doing a playoff pairing show. I suggest you look somewhere else. I will be having the articles out the day after. And again, please, once the game ends, I don't need exact stats, but how many touchdowns or how many catches or how many sacks, how many tackles. Nominate your player for Player of the Night in the state of Illinois. That's all you got to do. Send me a direct message. Email me at coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Have a chance to nominate your player for Player of the Night in the state of Illinois. And even if you don't win, your name will be on the Sunday conclusion article for top performers in the state of Illinois. Make sure I have those stats. Send those stats in. That's the most important thing, honestly. And again, DuPage Run and Shoot Show tomorrow with me and my co-host Patrick Codo as we talk DuPage County football. We're also going to be talking some Southern Illinois football as well because Mr. Codo is a SIU graduate and he actually covered some around that area, that Southern Illinois area. So we're going to be talking some Southern Illinois football too, along with DuPage County area football too. And again, if you like my work, feel free to leave a tip/donation via PayPal, Venmo link. It's on deepdishfootball.com. It's also on the Facebook Live spot. Again, goes out especially great. Helps out with the bills that what Deep Dish Football incurs. It's a fun time. And again, that is it. Let's get ready for some Week 8 football. And again, if you have any questions, my email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. And I will see you guys tomorrow.